Hey everybody, Bearded Rogue back again, and today we're going to talk about the most difficult product to search for on Board Game Geek, and that is the game. This is the new version of the game. The old version of the game had creepy skulls and fire and dark black artwork, and it made absolutely no sense why it was all gothed out island survival horror in tone, because this is a game that you can play with nearly anyone. It's very simple in concept in that you are trying to play cards, starting with number 1 here through number 99. And you're trying to play all of them in order. Basically, it's a cooperative shedding game, if you will. Your goal is for everybody to have no cards in their hand and for everything to be in order. If you have 98 cards in order at the end of the game, then... oh, sorry, you start with 2. There's a 2. These are actually the up-down cards. Here's the catch, is that whenever you play cards, you have to play it to one of these piles. 2 of them start at 100 and count down. 2 of them start at 1 and count up. And you're not allowed to go backwards. So if somebody plays the 2 on the 100 counting down, there's no card that can be played after that. If someone plays the 37... then none of the card numbers higher than 37 can be played on that pile. The other pile counts up, of course, so ideally you would start with 2, and then count up to 3, etc., and work your way up. It's a really fun game. It's a co-op game that you can teach people how to play in almost no time at all, and I've never had a difficulty playing this with people, other than the original artwork and the original graphic design, which for some reason took a family co-op card game with numbers, or something that could have been a family co-op card game with numbers, and plastered scary horror stuff all over it. So this is a welcome change. I actually, back when I started getting into the game, which does have a solo mode, by the way, I actually got a different deck, like a custom deck, to play it with, because I did not want to play it with the original version of the game. This, on the other hand, has beautiful art from Kwanchai Mariah, and I cannot wait to start sharing this one with people. So this is a reissue from Pandasaurus, specifically. It is Target exclusive. I think you can also find it at conventions if Pandasaurus is at the convention, but I know that it's at Target primarily. That's where I got my copy. It's only $12, which was really cool, to be able to pick up something this cool and this fun for that cheap. I like numbers on cards games. This is a quintessential numbers on cards game, but it is a co-op numbers on cards game. One of the things that I really like about this is that it's really quick to explain. It doesn't involve any weirdness. It's literally play cards and then move on. You play 2 cards, and you can't tell people what you have. So, sometimes you'll play something exactly where somebody else needed to play something, and now you have to rework your strategy. This has a lot in common with Hanabi for me, as far as players trying to play cards in a specific order without telling each other what they have. However, it doesn't have the awkwardness of holding your hands backwards, which some people aren't used to. I know a lot of games of Hanabi have been kind of wrecked by people drawing cards and immediately looking at them, because that's what they're used to doing with cards. That won't happen in this. Anybody who has natural card player tendencies to draw a card from the top of the deck and immediately look at it won't have any problems with that. The entirety of it was redesigned, and it looks like each grouping So like here's 2 through 10. Each grouping kind of has its own set of things, and here's the 11 through 20. And it looks like this is kind of like the life cycle of the cell, or just the cycle of life, like starting with just cells, then cells dividing, then much more complicated things showing up, and eventually we get, so here's some plants, and then we have dinosaurs, and then we get looks like maybe Bronze Age stuff, and then we go on to looks like Industrial Revolution, and then Age of Flight, it looks like, perhaps, and then like Space Age, nuclear imagery, but all of these are gorgeous, gorgeous paintings from Kwanchai, who's one of my favorite artists in the entire board game industry. So this deck is just gorgeous. It's the same game. You're just going to hear the words game over and over again. It's the exact same game as the other version, but this brings a smile to people's faces. This is bright and cheerful and doesn't look grim and foreboding on the table. This is something that I could pull out and play with kids or parents in public libraries or wherever, and not have people going, I don't know, this creepy game with the flaming skulls is a little weird. Obviously with my friends nobody cares, and if I'm playing it solo it's no big deal which version you have, but having this version is going to make it much easier to share one of my favorite numbers on cards games with other people. This version is definitely going in my quiver, and I cannot wait to start playing it around with people. Pandasaurus, I think, originally wanted to change the artwork when they decided to distribute it in the US, and were not allowed to. I know that with Pandasaurus' success and various other things and conversations that they've had, they eventually got the go-ahead to do so, and picking Kwanchai, as far as I'm concerned, was absolute genius. There's nobody I can think of who could bring such a unique style and personality to it. It would be really cool to see other versions of this with other artists, although I probably won't be buying a whole bunch of them, so it may not be in the interest of the company to do so. I'd really love to see a reskin of this like this for the Mind, even if it's not Kwanchai. As much as I love the Mind, and the rabbits and shurikens are much less problematic than flaming skulls, the unrelenting black rabbit shuriken stuff in the Mind kind of gets in the way. This is amazing. It's really bright on store shelves. It was really easy to find in Target because it's really easy to see. It would be cool to have a version of the Mind, perhaps, that's like this. I love co-op games. I love numbers on cards games. I know that I like this game, and having a version of this game that I can use anywhere to share with anyone, or that I can direct people to. That was the other problem is, well, I love my custom deck. Playing with my custom deck, the first question out of everybody's mouth after we were done playing was, so where can I get this? And it's like, well, you kind of can't. You can get the, like, creepy flaming skulls version if you want. And a lot of people were like, really? Why? Why would I want to do that? This, I'm not going to have any problems. People aren't going to have a problem picking this one up based on its appearance. It's fantastic. and I'm super excited to have it. So, yay! Thank you, Kwanchai, for doing the artwork. Thank you, Pandasaurus, for making it happen, and thank you, Target, for deciding to carry it. And that's it. The game.